Yo, what's going on out there? It's Larry coming to you. Y'all already know what show this is, Blazing Sports Report. I'm the host. I'm a little scruffy right now, had a long night, what have you. This video is a little different. As you can see, I'm looking up at y'all instead of y'all looking straight on with me. That's because what we're going to talk about today, the NCAA Tournament. As we all know, brackets were filled out yesterday. We know who's going where, but we really don't know how to evaluate these games. So what I'm going to do, I haven't filled out my bracket yet because I wanted to use my bracket as a way to analyze the actual tournament as it goes down. Now, when you look at the South region, Kentucky, of course, #1 overall seed. Everyone expected that to happen. As I look at these matchups, there are a couple that intrigue me as I look at this one. Particularly Notre Dame and Xavier, and Wichita State and VCU. Now, we all know VCU is capable. Shaka Smart is the head coach. They play a great defense, cause havoc. I think that's like their motto or what have you. And when you look at Xavier and Notre Dame, everybody got to remember Xavier was on the top of it was a top 10 team before the actual little brawl happened or little allegations and players got suspended and they fell off, but they've actually been able to recover from that lately. As I look at these matchups right here, though, obviously Kentucky is going to move on. Another one, Iowa State and Connecticut. Iowa State and Connecticut is going to be a key matchup to watch. Connecticut, we all know what they're capable of. We all know that they have the talent on the team, but I think the inconsistencies of actually putting it all together has been quite problematic for them. But I do think that UConn, even though they're a lower seed, I don't know. That's a tough matchup for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and say UConn will win that. Wichita State, VCU, of course, like I said, that's gonna be a tough one, but I think Wichita State will pull that one off. Indiana, New Mexico State, I'm gonna go with Indiana. UNLV and Colorado. Colorado won the Pac-12, first time in that conference. I'm gonna go ahead and go to UNLV though. UNLV is a lot more talented, got better players on the team. Colorado, they rolled that dream, but we all know it's the NCAA tournament. Nothing is ever written in stone. I'm gonna go with Baylor over South Dakota State. Notre Dame, Xavier. Notre Dame, they've been inconsistent, and Xavier, like I said, they had the suspension issues, but I'm gonna go ahead and go with Xavier with that. And of course, Duke will beat Lehigh. There's no even question of arguing that one. Continuing on with the South, I'm gonna go region by region, if you will. That'll make it a little more easier to break down everything. UConn and Kentucky. Now, UConn has Andre Drummond. I believe Andre Drummond can match up very well with Anthony Davis. They have Jeremy Lamb as well, Shabazz Napier. They have a good core unit. Does UConn? But Kentucky has a starting lineup of all NBA players. So Kentucky, I think, well, the key to that game will be if UConn can get Kentucky in foul trouble. Particularly Anthony Davis, because we all know Anthony Davis got like a 10-foot wingspan, and that unibrow is very dangerous to be feared. But I'm going to go ahead and say that Kentucky goes on and beat down Wichita State and Indiana. I think we'll get our rematch. I think Indiana will knock off Wichita State. UNLV, Baylor. I'm going to go ahead and say Baylor and Duke Xavier. That's going to be an interesting game, but I'm going to go ahead and say the Duke Blue Devils pull that off. We all know Duke is a three-point shooting team, and they're going up against Baylor, who has some athleticism and length on the inside of the court. With Perry Jones, and you got Quincy Acey, who's very athletic, very dynamic. But I think that this tournament will be Austin Rivers coming out party to show that he can actually do something with the team other than just be relied on and looked at as just a lone one-man scorer. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Duke on this one. And Kentucky, Indiana, we get the rematch. Do I think that Kentucky will be able to extract revenge against the Indiana Hoosiers? That I'm not sure of. Indiana, ever since that big win at Kentucky, they've been an up-and-down team. We really don't know what to expect out of this team. They're going up against, like I said, a team stacked with NBA talent. But I think that Kentucky will go ahead, knock off Indiana and go on to play Duke. Now, here's the matchup right here that I think everybody wants to see. Yes, I have both 1 and 2 seeds advancing all the way. I don't see any real upsets in this region, unless you want to call Connecticut beating Iowa State because they are a lower seed, or Xavier. But Duke, Kentucky. Now, we all know Duke relies heavily on the three-point shot. But Duke also has the Plumlees on the inside. Kentucky, they have physical, talented players. They have people that can do it all. They have Anthony Davis. They have Terrence Jones, Kid Gilchrist. They have all this talent on this team. And so does Duke. That's not knocking anything that Duke has. You got Dawkins, Rivers, Curry. Like I said, the Plumlees, Ryan Kelly. It's a lot of things that's going on good for both of these teams. But the thing is, Duke has played inconsistent all season. By giving Duke standards. I mean, of course, they have one of the better records in all of college basketball. But the thing is, when they come against top elite talent, I'm not even sure if they can beat Baylor. I'm picking them in this bracket, but I do think that Duke has the ability to beat Baylor. Like I said, for that's one reason the Plumlee's on the inside, because the Plumlees can neutralize and gang up on certain big men on the inside. Given that information, though, Anthony Davis is still a beast. Anthony Davis is more athletic than the Duke front court tandem that they have. I'm not taking away any athleticism away from the Plumlees, but I do believe that one man won't be able to contain both of them. But I do see, if you will, the upset of the number 1 overall seed in Kentucky, and I see Duke moving on to the Final Four. Now we move on down to the West region. Michigan State, number 1 seed. They're going to beat Long Island. There's no question about that. Memphis and St. Louis. Memphis is a team that, if they can get going in transition, they will beat anybody. St. Louis, I haven't had a really chance to watch them, but I do know that they're coached by Rick Majerus. Rick Majerus is one of the best coaches that ever coached the game. He has the experience factor over the head coach of Memphis. So I'm going to go ahead and go with St. Louis. He had that team ready. I think they have more seniors on their team as well. New Mexico, Long Beach State. I'm going to go with Long Beach State on that one. The 12 beating the 5. That's one of my upset specials. Another upset special, this next matchup, Louisville-Davidson. Davidson is a very dangerous team. People don't realize how dangerous that Davidson really is. So I'm going to go ahead and say Louisville, with their inconsistencies, the up and down year that they've had. It depends on which Louisville team shows up to play. We all know what Louisville is capable of, but I do think that Davidson will pull off that upstate. Got Murray State. I think they'll knock off Colorado State. Marquette will beat whoever comes out of that number 12 spot. Virginia and Florida. This is another good matchup. Virginia has been one of those teams that has shown up this year. People didn't expect them to come out and have the party that they've had, but they've actually been able to do so. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and give Florida the edge. I thought y'all was going to go with Virginia, but no, not this one. Missouri will knock off Norfolk State. Then we have Michigan State, St. Louis. Michigan State should win that one. Long Beach State and Davidson. I see Davidson moving on to the Sweet 16. Murray State, Marquette. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup. I like this matchup. Murray State, Marquette. This will be a very fun matchup to watch. But Marquette, they're talented, they're tough, they're strong. Johnson Odom is one of the best players I've seen play all year in terms of just what he brings to the court. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Marquette. Florida, Missouri. Now this matchup right here is going to be very, very exciting to me. I'm looking forward to seeing this matchup. But you look at Beal, you look at Irvin, you look at just the team that they have on that Florida team. You know they're going to shoot a lot of threes. But Missouri with Denman and Frank Heath, what he's been able to do with that team, I mean, it's just been quite outstanding what he's been able to do with that team. I'm going to go ahead and go with Missouri. The man got emotional when they won the championship yesterday. I don't think anything's going to stop him. Now, here comes some more upsets right here. I'm going to pick Davidson to make it all the way to the Elite Eight. Yes, I did. I threw Dick Davidson would beat Michigan State. Be a very fun matchup. I mean, Michigan State is a very good team. They're number 1 seed. Yes, I realize this and everything, but Davidson is one of those sneaky teams. They put up a lot of shots. They play tough. They're a very good team, and I do think that they will beat Michigan State. Michigan State has been one of those up and down teams. When I've looked at them actually perform on the court, I mean, yeah, they beat Ohio State 2 out of 3 times, I think it was, this year, but I do think that they won't have enough to compete with Davidson in this one. I think that this will be the game where they falter it. Moving on, Marquette, Missouri. Another marquee matchup, but I like Missouri. Missouri is one of my picks that I've said all season long. I'm going to stick with Missouri, and Missouri will knock off Davidson. Now we're going to move on to the East region. Syracuse will beat UNC Asheville, no doubt. Kansas State and Southern Mississippi. I think Kansas State will win that matchup. Harvard and Vanderbilt. Now this is a good matchup. I like this matchup. Vanderbilt, we all know what they did. They beat Kentucky. That's one thing a lot of people need to remember. At any given point in time, anybody can be beaten in the game of basketball, and we've all seen that this year, that anybody can be beaten. Kentucky got beat by Vanderbilt. Nobody's seen that coming, but Vanderbilt has a lot of scores, a lot of athleticism. But another upset special, I'm picking Harvard. Then we go to Wisconsin, Montana. I'm going to say Wisconsin's going to win that one. Cincinnati and Texas. I still don't know how Texas got into the tournament to begin with, but I'm going to pick Cincinnati to go ahead and beat them. Florida State, St. Bonaventure. Florida State is going to be a very dangerous team. Gonzaga and West Virginia. This is going to be a tough matchup, but I think West Virginia has that toughness. The Bob Huggins coach team, he's going to tell those guys to bring it. They're not going to leave anything out on the floor. West Virginia will knock off Gonzaga. And then you got Ohio State taking on Loyola, Maryland. Ohio State will win that matchup. Kansas State and Syracuse. I don't think anybody's going to stop Syracuse at this point. It's a little too early in the tournament. I see Wisconsin knocking off Harvard. Cincinnati, Florida State. Florida State will win that matchup. West Virginia, Ohio State. Ohio State will win that matchup. Now we get to the good parts. We got Syracuse, Wisconsin, Florida State, Ohio State. Syracuse, tough team. Got it all. They got inside, outside, fast break. Half court is a little suspect, but they can't execute in the half court. But we all know that zone defense. Wisconsin is a team who's been a little rocky at times, but they have proven that they can compete. They do know what they're doing with the ball in their hands. So I'm going to go ahead and give this win to Syracuse, though. But I think they're just too talented, too tough. Now we got Florida State and Ohio State. If one thing we've learned from Florida State is Florida State can beat anybody in this college basketball game. Let me get the drink of water real quick. Well, apple juice. Florida State, smothering defense, talented team. Snare's been balling out of control. You got Ohio State, you got Jed Sullinger. You got one of the best perimeter defenders in all the nation. I can't remember his name right now. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to get through this because a lot of games to cover. But I do think that Ohio State does have the will and has the ability to beat Florida State. But I also think Florida State has the will and the ability to do it. So you know what I'm going to do? Pick Florida State to beat Ohio State. Now we got Florida State and Syracuse. Florida State, Syracuse. There's a lot of similarities between this team. We know Syracuse likes to get up and down the court. But there's one thing that we learned from Florida State is that they can beat people in getting up and down the court. They played UConn's game and running up and down the court in the ACC championship game yesterday. So what I see in this matchup is Florida State, they have the defense, they have the play style, they can knock it out, hit outside shots, they can get it done inside. I'm going to go ahead and say another upset special. Florida State will knock off Syracuse. Now we go to the Midwest region, the final region. We got North Carolina. They're the number one seed in that spot. Creighton and Alabama. You know who I'm going with. I'm going to Alabama. It's a fan pick. I'm an Alabama fan. Creighton, I haven't seen them play. Unfortunately, they don't get no TV exposure down here in Florida. So, I'm going with Alabama. Even though Alabama has been inconsistent, I do think they have enough talent and Tony Mitchell and JaMychal Green to get past Creighton. Temple, whoever comes out of that round one matchup, that other first four matchup, I think they will knock those off. Michigan and Ohio. Michigan will get past Ohio. San Diego State and North Carolina State. North Carolina State played tough. A lot of people say that there was a charge in that game against UNC, but whatever have you. I think North Carolina State and San Diego State will be a very good matchup. I think it'll be a very good game to watch. But I think San Diego State will ultimately pull it off. Now, when I look at this, Georgetown will beat Belmont, St. Mary's, and Purdue. Purdue has been one of those teams where you don't know what you're exactly going to get. But I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Kansas, Detroit. Kansas is going to get that one all the way. North Carolina, Alabama. The game is going to be near and dear to my heart because I cheer on the Tar Heels. I cheer on the Crimson Tide, but the Crimson Tide don't have enough. I think North Carolina, I think Harrison Barnes will turn this on. A lot of criticism has been going towards his way. They got one of the best point guards in all of college basketball right now, so I'm picking North Carolina in that matchup. Michigan and Temple. I do think that Michigan will win this game. Tim Hardaway Jr., the man is sick with it in his hands. San Diego State, Georgetown. I'm going to go with Georgetown winning that game. St. Mary's and Kansas all the way. Now, this is where things get exciting. And I love these Sweet 16 matchups because that's when you have some of the most exciting games, some of the most talented teams playing each other. Kansas and Georgetown. Because I already see North Carolina, they should beat Michigan. There's no need of me even breaking that game down. Georgetown and Kansas. Georgetown has the inside game. They have the outside game. They have the half-court offense. Kansas, they have the inside game. They have the outside game. They have the inside presence in Thompson. This game right here would be very, 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 very close to call. But I do see Kansas winning that game against Georgetown. I just think that Kansas will come in. They will bring it. They want to get to this Final Four. They want to get in here and prove. And I think that these boys will come out here with a chip on their shoulder. Just because they want to prove that they're worth something more than a lot of people expected. Then you got the Carolina-Kansas matchup. Go with Kansas. Why? Because Carolina has been too inconsistent for me to be sold on them this year. I mean, Carolina is a good team. They have talented players and everything like that. But like I said, that consistency factor, they just don't have it. But like I said, in this year, if we've learned anything, is that anybody can be beaten on any given time. Now, on to the Final Four matchups. I got Florida State taking on Kansas. Florida State will take on Kansas and will be, I think, one of the more exciting matchups we have seen in a long, long time. I'm going to go ahead and say that Kansas will knock off Florida State. We have Duke and Missouri. I'm picking Missouri. You know what that means? We're going to have an all Big 12 final. And Missouri and Kansas, my final pick to win it all will be the Missouri Tigers. There you have it. That's been my bracket. That's been my breakdown in the NCAA tournament. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you think I'm crazy, let me know. I'd like to get you guys' opinion. It's been Larry Jenkins, Blazing Sports Report, NCAA 2012 tournament. I guess you can call this the special edition of that. Get at me. Let me know what your bracket picks are. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. My words got tied up right there. I'm trying to cut this thing down. But go ahead and let me know what you guys think. That's been my bracket. Blaze Sports Support. I'll holler at y'all boys. Peace.